Ruthie Craft week here on the Boston Chris Show. Sorry about that. Oh, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to this week's episode of the Boston Chris Show. So stoked to have just an incredible indie pop artist from right here in Texas, from the Austin area here on the show. I have been a fan of Ruthie Crafts for a while. She is a valuable part of my playlist, and she should be part of yours too. And so stoked to get to chat with her today. But before we do, I want you guys to know that you have homework out there. That's right. Don't worry. It don't take that long. Just hit the like button down below wherever you're watching. That's your homework. And, of course, if you want to see more candid, in-depth interviews like this one right here, you can hit the subscribe or follow button. And please, guys, go ahead and comment down below where you are watching or listening from. I would love to hear that and see that. Let me tell you a little bit more about our guest this week. Ruthie Craft channels heartbreak, life lessons, and her struggles with Tourette syndrome into her music, creating a space where vulnerability meets empowerment. Capturing audiences with energetic, emotional performances, her cinematic pop soul features powerful vocals, moody, soulful tones, and slick lyrics evocative of Imagine Dragons, early Maroon 5, Amy Winehouse, and Dua Lipa. In 2015, she was selected to perform with Keith Urban at the Washington State Fair for an audience of 10,000, and the experience brought her thousands of local fans. And in 2018, Ruthie competed on Season 2 of American Idol on ABC, providing her with an entirely new group of national fans. Since then, she has collaborated with producers and artists across the country and has billed with the likes of Sir Mix-a-Lot, Shaky Graves, Wheatus, Magic City Hippies, Di Spitz, Black Joe Lewis, and Emily Wolfe. Ruthie's cinematic pop soul style is characterized by powerful vocals and evocative lyrics that captivate audiences, embodying her journey from a young girl in Washington to a rising star in Austin. She has released multiple singles and collaborative projects, including a cover of Can't Take My Eyes Off of You with pianist Jason Lux and vocalist Kramer, earning them over 6 million streams on Spotify. Ruthie is currently playing shows across the country and released her debut EP, Sound of Blue, in September 2024. We are so stoked to chat with Ruthie here in a most in-depth and deep and insightful conversation that I think you guys will absolutely love. I hope you guys listen to it all. And without any further ado, let's get into it with Ruthie Craft.
It's time to jam. It's time to mingle. It's time to see what everyone's drinking. It's time to jam. It's time to mingle. It's time to see what everyone's drinking. Until we all lose connection.
All right. Hey, this is Jerry Phillips, and thank you for tuning into the Boston Chris Show.
All right, y'all, it is Ruthie Craft week here on the show. And Ruthie, how are you today? I know we were just talking a little bit off camera. It's been a rough couple of months for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a weird year in general, but definitely the last few months have been, let's say, tested my patience and built character.
Yeah. And you're still smiling, though. So there's that, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm doing my best. So honestly, and I don't say this like because I don't want people to feel bad for me, but genuinely, there have been too many silver linings after breaking my leg to really be too upset about it. So I've learned a lot. I've grown a lot. My heart has healed a lot. And so even though it was like a unforeseen circumstance, and I truly would not wish it upon my worst enemies, I do think that it's made me a better person in a lot of ways.
I think your history kind of maybe prepared you for it too, right? Like, I mean, it's been an interesting existence for Ruthie Craft, I think, right?
Yeah, I mean, we all have stories. Each one of
Sure.
us, we're all very unique and have gone through valleys. But things like really started to fall apart this year, just personally. And so every time something new happened, I was like, well, that's par for the course for 2025, I guess.
I think
Whatever.
I
It's
think
like,
that's
you
life,
know,
right? Like I wake up every day and I'm like, okay, what's it gonna put in my way today? Like what's life? What's the obstacle today? It's like, and I think my motto lately has been every day is something different, right? Just
that's true.
and
You
I
don't know
feel
what's
like
coming
it's
next.
sometimes it's hard to see the positive through all that. You know, it really truly is. And I think when you're facing a lot of obstacles like life likes to throw at you, you tend to take the positive things for granted and maybe not notice them quite as much. I am guilty of this all the time,
Yeah.
where I just think that I'm snake bitten or something, and I don't recognize the blessings. Let me kind of break the ice a little bit. We have a theme song that has a part in it where we're going to find out what they're drinking. So, what are your favorite drinks right now?
My favorite drinks. Honestly, I've just been, Waterloo keeps coming out with fun new flavors. I'm just like a sparkling water gal mostly these days. Pretty simple, but more interesting than drinking regular water.
Yeah, it gets boring, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like
God,
sparkling water is kind
first
of a
world problem.
compromise, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel you. So, Ruthie has allowed us to include a couple of songs today as part of the episode, which I'm so happy about because I'm such a fan of your work. And the first song is called 19. Can you tell us a little bit about the song?
Yeah. That is the first of many personal songs I would share. I released that, I don't know, it's been almost 3 years now, I guess, 2 or 3 years ago. And I was nervous about sharing it with the world because it tells the story of me when I was 19 and meeting my now ex-husband and kind of the thought process that was going through my mind at the time. I was sitting here in Austin and I was 25, so it was right after I moved here, and I was just thinking like I'm looking around this town at all the other 25-year-olds and I feel old. Not as in like I just am so much wiser than
Yeah.
them, but like I just feel like my heart feels heavier. Like they haven't gone through what I've gone through. And there are a lot of young people that have gone through what I've gone through. I know that now after releasing the song, but at the time I felt really alone in my pain and in my trauma, I guess. And so it was writing that song was just an open letter to basically my ex-husband and myself, my younger self. Like, if this hadn't happened, if I hadn't gone through all that, would I feel younger than I am right now? But then again, would I even want things to be different? Because it did sort of help grow me into the person that I am today. So it's a complicated song for me, but I'm really proud of how it turned out.
And that introspection can be really interesting, right? Like just trying to figure it all out and whether or not it was a good thing for you or not. And sometimes you need distance and time to kind of realize those things. And
Yeah.
you're right. Like, you know, as a 25-year-old at the time, you don't know what other people are living. But I mean, I think we can always feel alone in our experiences, right?
Yeah, that's the trap of loneliness. Man, if I could just I just want to get this word out there that loneliness is a trick and
Yeah.
it's a trap because the reality is we're all lonely all at the same time and yet somehow we're all separated from each other. And so there are people, sometimes I think about it, if I have lonely moments and I think there are people, I'm in an apartment, so there are people above, below, beside me. And I think, gee, I wonder if they're lonely too. We're living right next to each other with only a wall separating us. And we're staying here in our homes. And I'll just, this is me preaching to myself here.
Hmm.
You know, I sit there and I let it consume me sometimes and throw a pity party for myself. But the reality is like there's so many hurting, lonely people out there. So I've tried to lately make an effort to notice those people if somebody seems lonely. If I sometimes I'll go to bars by myself to go play pool or a coffee shop or whatever and just try to connect with somebody like, hey, how's your day going? You know, whatever, the barista or somebody sitting next to me because you have no idea what they're going through. They could be hurting too. They could
Hmm.
be lonely too. And that's an opportunity for you guys to kind of bridge that gap.
I love it. Yeah, loneliness is very much like depression, right? It doesn't make sense ever. And
Yeah.
what you just said to me reminded me of something that I'm going to share with you. Perhaps you don't know. I'm assuming you probably don't. It's kind of obscure. But Wayne Newton, probably 30 or 40 years ago, purchased a correspondence from the Elvis estate, and it was called the Elvis Letter. And he turned it into a song also called the Elvis Letter. And it's essentially Elvis wrote a letter and ended up throwing it in the wastebasket. And the urban legend is that they found it in the wastebasket when he died. I don't know if that's true or not, but the gist of the letter was he was talking about how lonely he was in a room full of people, thousands and thousands of people, and just being so lonely all the time. And but anyway, it encapsulates exactly what you were just talking about with people above you, people below you, all around you. That letter, I recommend people check it out if you haven't. It's really cool and really encapsulates what Ruthie was just talking about. But anyway, we got off track a little bit, which happens on this show. We're going to show you guys 19 completely live by Ruthie Craft. Y'all check it out.
I've seen that look before. You're locked and loaded. Gonna leave it all on the floor. Don't leave me hoping for more than what I came here for. I didn't come here to change it.
All right, so we're back, and you talked about everybody has their own experience and their own story, and that's why we do this show, because it's really important for us to tell those stories, and everybody is incredibly unique, yourself included. I love where you grew up, the Pacific Northwest, right? Fox Island and near Seattle, is that right?
Yeah. Yes, that's correct.
So what's it
Nobody's ever
like in
heard of
that
it.
part of the country?
Beautiful, really, really beautiful. But unfortunately, the price you pay for that beauty and greenery is rain all the
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
clouds 10 months out of the year. Um, Texas was more my speed as far as sunshine goes. I'm a sunshine person. I need my vitamin D, but it's gorgeous. I really think that in the summertime, the Seattle area, I'm convinced there's no more beautiful place on earth. It's unbelievable.
And
Um,
was your
yeah.
escape from the, I don't want to say escape, but you leaving the Pacific Northwest, was that because of your marriage?
No, I had moved away when I got married across the country, and then I moved back after it fell apart, and then lived with my parents for a while. Which, by the way, if anybody's out here listening and they're in their mid 20s and they're ashamed about moving back in with their parents, y'all, sometimes it needs to happen.
Yeah.
That's what they're there for. If they love you and they're supportive, you take advantage of that and let them love on you so that you can build your wings back up and fly again. And that's what I had to do. I had to go rest and recover and heal. And so I was doing that for a few years, and then pandemic hit, and 2020 passed, and then 2021, and I'm like, man, this ain't for me. All my gigs were being
Yeah.
canceled, and that was like my lifeblood. Like I needed to perform and be on stage. And I heard that Texas was open. I had seen Austin back in 2018 one time, and I just felt this like unbelievable connection to it. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna move to Texas and do the thing. It's the first time I've ever lived on my own, the first time I've moved away on my own,
Wow.
outside of my marriage, and so it was really scary. And there were definitely moments where I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
This is idiotic. Like I'm not strong enough to do this. Is for people who are strong. This is for people who are brave. I'm not that. I'm not independent.
Hmm.
And eventually, I just, with the help of some really kind friends, I took the leap. Now I'm here, and I don't regret it.
Yeah, I wanna unpack a lot of your move here in a minute, but let's back up a little bit. I'd love to know how, as a young kid, how music is finding you. Like, how's it getting into your world?
Hmm. Um, I've always, I guess I always loved singing. I wanted to be an actor when I was younger. That was my main thing. Um, but I had a lot of insecurities around it because I have Tourette syndrome, and it was really bad when I was a kid. And so I didn't go out on auditions, even though my family wanted me to. And I just kind of, I let that dream kind of fade away because I didn't think I was good enough. Um, and I thought my Tourette's would hinder me. So, but I sang a lot because I had really bad anxiety as a child and depression. I don't know, again, like it doesn't make sense. I don't really know where it came from. I had a
Yeah.
good life, I had a good childhood, but I was just plagued by this anxiety and OCD and ADHD and things like that, all the letters. And I noticed that when I sang, I felt calm and I didn't have tics. The only time I didn't have tics, I have tics when I sleep. I have tics when I have conversations. I have tics when I eat. The only time I didn't have tics was when I was singing. And so I just started to sing all the time. I didn't think I was like good at it or anything. I just liked doing it. And I would make up songs with my little sister and entertain my parents and stuff. And then Adele came onto the scene. I think I was like 13 when she dropped her first album, 19. Quick tie-in, my song 19 is also kind of an homage to her first album because it's the album that taught me how to sing.
Hmm.
So I just got obsessed with it. I learned all of the songs by heart and tried to do her riffs and emulate her tone and everything. And yeah, and then I just started getting comments from my family and friends like, "Oh, you're actually like a good singer." And I was like, "No, I'm not. Why are you saying that? Don't lie to me." Because I had seen so much American Idol, and I had seen all of the horrific auditions, and I was like, "Don't lie to me. I know families lie to people about their voice."
Yeah.
and I didn't believe them, and but I just loved it so much, and so I just kept going, and then I was like, yeah, maybe I'll write parodies. Will be the next Weird Al. That was genuinely my goal because I didn't
Nice.
think I was good enough to write real songs, but I was pretty funny, and I would actually won my community college talent show with a parody that I wrote. And so that was like my thing. I was the parody girl. And then it was a friend of mine was like, why aren't you writing real songs? You have stories to tell. And I was like, well, I'm not good enough for that. That's ridiculous. Nobody cares what I have to say. And they're like, just try it. And so I did. And they were horrible. They're just terrible songs. I didn't know how to write a song from scratch. And I realized I had to probably learn how to play an instrument. And I was so resistant to it. I was like, no, other people can play for me and other people can write for me. I just want to sing. And then I kept feeling that pull on my heart like, no, you have stories to tell, and this is a good way to process them. And also, you need to be independent and learn how to accompany yourself.
Yeah.
So I was too intimidated by learning the guitar. So I was like, well, ukulele only has 4 strings. Let's try this. So I ordered this tiny, dumb pink ukulele off of Amazon for like $50. And I just watched YouTube videos and learned that. That's why ukulele is a part of my music. Wasn't necessarily by choice, but more like necessity. And then it just stayed with me over the years. And yeah, and then I did eventually learn guitar, of course. But yeah, so that's kind of that's the general arc
Let me
of how I
ask you
got
this:
started in that.
how long did it take you to realize that realization that when you were singing, when you were performing, everything kind of slowed down for you? You know, I mean, the anxiety, the tics, all of those things. Was that a real fast, sudden realization, or did it take time for you to realize, oh my gosh, I'm not ticking when I sing?
I think it took time, and if I remember correctly, I think my oldest sister was the one that pointed it out
Hmm.
because I didn't even notice it. Um, I remember I have this vivid memory of sitting in the back of our family suburban, and my oldest sister is driving. There's 5 kids in our family, so all 5 of us were in there, and I was in the back singing along to some country song like Garth Brooks, and I just felt so calm, and I just never felt calm as a child for whatever reason. And I felt calm, and I was singing my heart out, and I think my sister was the one that first pointed out that I sounded not half bad, and also that I wasn't having tics. I seemed more like my full self when I was singing, I guess, and that was noticeable to my family.
And so, how do you cultivate that? Because so far, like you're talking about quite a long time between being younger and realizing that music is kind of almost a safe harbor for you, but then you're talking about when you first come to Austin, you're that fear of independence is there as well. So like how long does it take for you to realize that like kind of the fear of independence is kind of, I don't want to say dumb, but like not true, right? It's not a true experience.
Yeah, so interesting. It's like my fear of independence at the time felt like a very true, it felt like the truth,
Yeah,
felt like a true experience to
sure.
me. Um, it took so much time, but I would look around and I would see other friends developing faster than me emotionally. Um, it took me a long time to realize that, but I would be like, okay, other people around me have better emotional control. They understand, like, they know how to communicate their feelings better than I do. I understood a lot. I was intaking a lot, but I wasn't able to communicate very well. And I I just kind of had it in my head that I was not good enough
Yeah.
and I was not capable. And eventually I started to learn the only thing that snapped me out of it. It wasn't like I woke up one day and I was like, you know what, I can do it. The only way I figured out that I could do hard things, I was dragged through hard things. And it was not by choice. I would not have chosen it. And I'm so glad that it did happen that way. And God put those obstacles in my life because otherwise I would have never discovered how strong I truly was.
Hmm.
And there's this phrase that Chris Williamson, the podcaster, Modern Wisdom, he uses all the time is um, competency. I'm going to screw it up. Uh, Competency. Shoot, I should have prepared it. I don't remember. It has something to do with like consistency begets competency or something like that. So basically, like, the more you do things, the more competent you become.
Yeah.
You don't just, because I would look at other people and I'd be like, well, they're just smarter than me. They're just stronger than me. I didn't realize they had to go through hard things as well to become competent in their field and to become good communicators. So it was through very, very difficult circumstances that I narrowly escaped. Very narrowly escaped. That's when you find your limit, and that's when you know you can do it. I didn't know that I could move to Austin alone and survive. There were a couple of months where I almost didn't make rent. There have been several moments over my last 4 years in Austin where I hadn't been able to purchase groceries. I was like hungry. People are like, "You look so good. What's your weight loss program?" I'm like, "Being poor."
Yeah, right.
Like, I'm just hungry. So there have been a lot of moments where, like, those voices came back. Yeah, see, you could never do it. You were too weak. You were right. You're not independent. And you just have to kind of like drop kick those voices out of your brain, because it's like you have no choice.
Yeah.
Like, what was I going to do? Move back home? I could. Wouldn't be the end of the world. But I wanted to see where my limit was. How far can I take this thing? And that's how I learned independence. And I am still learning this every day. I'm not like sitting here in front of you saying, I am the most strong, independent woman there is who don't need no man.
Yep.
Like, I still want love. I still need support from my community. I need help. But I also know that I'm capable of a lot more than I think I am.
Let me ask you this, because everybody has that voice, right? And we call it imposter syndrome, right? At least I do. I call it imposter syndrome. And I feel like probably the only people that don't deal with it are probably narcissists, right? But,
Yeah.
you know?
Probably, yeah.
But I'm curious over time, like, where you sit today, are you starting to realize, or have you started to realize, that inner voice lies most of the time? And are you starting to realize that the people around you who are actually telling the truth? You talked about, watching American Idol and seeing these horrible auditions and people saying, oh, you're great. And then you're hearing people around you say the same thing. You're great, you're great, you're great. Are you starting to realize that that's the truth and your inner voice is actually the one lying to you?
Yeah. So it depends on what we're talking about specifically, but I'd say, like, as far as, talent, that kind of imposter syndrome, eventually it's like, okay, well, the majority of people are not telling me that I suck, even when I ask them for their honest opinion. So, okay, maybe we lean into this, maybe we look into this. Because I wanted to pursue something that I was good at. I wasn't going to be one of those people that, like, wasted their whole life shooting for something that they were never going to excel at.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be sure about it. So that definitely helped. I just eventually started to be like, okay, well, if the majority says this, then maybe there's weight to it. But I don't know. As humans, we deal with so many voices in our head, not like in a schizophrenic way, but like we have these thoughts, we have negative self-talk, we have doubt, self-doubt. And, there's a lot of different ways that people have muscled their way through it. But for me, a huge thing is, leaning on friends and family who I know will be honest with me. Like my mother, she can't lie to me. It's kind of annoying. She'll be honest with me. She humbles me. She keeps me humble. That's why I talk to her like almost every day.
You have to have that.
Yeah. And so that's been really important for me. So if my mom is saying something about me, it's most likely true because she knows me better than any other human. And then beyond that, like, a massive part for me has been my faith journey and trying to sort of sift out which one is my voice, which one is God's voice, which one is the enemy's voice, which one is just other people around me, and trying to seek truth. And it's a process. It's a very painful, tedious process, but
it's tough.
I'm starting to see the picture a little bit more clearly and kind of understand my identity. And I think once you can stand on solid ground and like really know who you are inside and out, that's when, I don't know, the rest of the problems of the world kind of melt away. Like this broken leg and all the other things I've been through. It's like, at the end of the day, I know who I am. I know where I stand. And Does
Yeah,
that make sense? That was a little
absolutely.
rambling,
No,
but
you're great. That's great. That's why we podcast. This is great. Um,
yeah.
one of the things that's funny because up until the pandemic, I really never dealt with imposter syndrome a lot. And for some reason, because of COVID, or maybe in spite of COVID, I don't know why, but all of a sudden that negative inner voice started showing up for me. And I've always been a very logical human, right? So, like for you, when you're hearing those voices from your friends and your family and fans and things that are all telling you the same thing, you're talented, you're good, blah blah blah, and you're talking about, every time you hear that, it adds more weight to that. That's the logical side of me, right? Like I'm logically speaking, I'm thinking, well, yeah, there's more weight there, I should believe that, and I've always been logical. But the more that I've dealt with imposter syndrome, the kind of the lower that logical voice inside me gets, right? It's more of a whisper, and you can't quite hear it quite as much. And I don't know, it's kind of weird to talk about, but that's how it's been for me. And like my
Yeah.
wife, for example, I've been with my wife since 2015. She's always talking to me about, you used to be so logical, what happened? And so it's like, it's such a journey for me to get back on the black and white and stop focusing so much on the gray sometimes.
Mm. Yeah, see, that's a tricky thing because, oh man, we could go into such a philosophical thing here.
Yeah,
But like, I'm learning because I've always been a black and white person.
sure.
It's always been just this dichotomy. It's yin or yang, black or white, right or
Is or
wrong.
not is, right? Yeah, yeah,
Exactly, to be or not to be. And so when I was faced with gray moments, I just crumbled.
yeah,
I was like, well,
same.
what do you do? What do you do with this? Where
Mm.
do I go from here? This isn't black or white. What do I call this? It's nuanced. And the older I get, the more I realize like so many of life's issues, philosophical, spiritual, emotional, are so nuanced.
Yep.
That's why I love long form entertainment like podcasts, so that we can sit here and we can break down and talk about the nuances. It's really easy. We would be simpler if everything was just black and white.
Yeah.
If we just had the rubric in front of us of this is right and this is wrong, and it's not always that clear.
It's funny because now
So
I look at it like black and white are like these two small boxes in front of you, and you can kind of put things in those boxes, but most of the world doesn't fit in those boxes. Most of the world is outside
most
those
people don't.
boxes. Right. So like
Yeah,
most everything else is gray, and then very few things you can actually stick in one of those two boxes. And boy, as a
I agree.
logical human being, it's so hard to deal with that, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. That's where I love music. It's like that's when I write, I'm writing from the gray place.
Yes, and most
I'm
people
writing
do.
from the
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Let's talk another really important thing I feel to unpack about your story, and this is the painful part of your life, is that marriage. I feel like other than finding music, kind of dropping music because of this period in your life also shaped you so much. And I read your story about how you kind of jumped into this relationship and into this marriage and kind of traveled across the country. But not just those changes, but you also dropped your creativity, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was those voices came back. You're not good enough. You'll never survive in this business. The happiness you're seeking isn't in music. I think that one was true, but it was also like used to. I misinterpreted that one, and so I tried to. I thought maybe if I'm just a wife, if I'm just like the best wife ever, then I'll be happy and I won't deal with depression anymore. If I could just like do this job really well, then maybe I'll be satisfied just playing in bars or singing at church for the rest of my life. And I tried. I tried to drop it so many times. I sold my music gear. I stopped taking gigs. I like took steps to try to quit music, and I couldn't stop writing.
Good.
I couldn't stop singing, and I just couldn't shake this feeling that my music was not meant for just me. I still don't even know exactly what that means, but I still feel that way. I know that I'm supposed to share a lot of these songs. Some songs are just for me, but a lot of them are, I think, for other people as well. So so yeah, I dropped that creativity for a while, and I tried to find it in other things, and it was so painful and lonely,
Yeah.
and yeah, it just I had no outlet anymore,
Yeah,
you know?
that's a miserable thing anyway. I mean, take away the bad marriage and the situations you're going through there. Just dropping your creative outlet is miserable
Yeah,
in its own device, right? And then you add
yeah,
all of those other things on top of that, and it just feels. It probably felt like failure was just multiplying on top of your shoulders over and over again.
it was spiraling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So how do you get away from that, and how do you get back into those creative outlets that helped you, cope with the Tourette's and the anxiety and all those things that you dealt with as a younger kid? I imagine you have to kind of reach for that lifeline again after the marriage, right?
Yep, that's exactly what happened. So, um, after my husband left, I tried, I really tried to make it work. I didn't. Nobody believes in divorce. Nobody gets married to get
Yeah,
divorced.
right.
Um, but I just never thought it would happen to me. I never thought I would be the one to do that. I was very against divorce and didn't want that. But things played out the way that they did. We got married really young, and yeah, wasn't a good situation, or a safe or healthy situation. So it did end. And as soon as I moved back home, and I never saw him again, I I looked at the money in my bank account and I was like, I have just enough money to record a song. So I'm going to do that.
Wow.
So there was one producer that had hit me up on Facebook maybe a year before when I was still married. And I was like, oh man, I really want to work with you, but I don't live in Washington anymore. So somehow I remembered his name. This was from like a year and a half prior. Remembered his name, found him on Facebook, and I said, hi, because I've never reached out to a producer before. I'd never had a song produced. I didn't
Yeah.
know how this. I was just like, "Hi, you reached out to me a while ago, and I'm back in Washington now, and I want to get a song produced." And I didn't even know what song I wanted. I didn't even have a song for him. I was just like, "I just want to go to the studio and figure it out." I had no plan. So I drive. It was probably like 2 hours north. I drive up there just to meet with him and chat and everything. He showed me some of his songs he was working on, and I showed him like, here are some ideas. We chose a song that I had co-written with some friends years prior, and we recorded that first song. It was called Outside. And then yeah, and then it kind of went from there. We did another one together called Heartbeat, and that's what started it. And I can't tell you the feeling I had in my heart when I walked into that little studio. It was like a tiny little home studio, and I walked in there for the first time, and I was like, okay, I'm free, and I found my place. Let's do this.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you found that's such a huge thing as an artist when you finally find not just your place but your people, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
understanding people that are pulling on the same side of the rope, so to speak. I'm so happy that you found that. So what's that like with your inner self, right? Like you have all of these detrimental voices because of the experiences that you've gone through as a human, and now you've found this space that it's like euphoria for you. So like for me, knowing how these voices are, it's almost like a cinematic thing where you see them like just kind of
Hmm.
skirting back, and like you hit them with a flamethrower and they skirt back behind the wall, you know what I mean? Is
Yeah.
it Does that make any sense to you, what I just said?
So what was like the battle with those negative voices
Yeah,
going
yeah, yeah.
forward?
Just good, like walking into a place where you feel accepted, and it's like euphoria. You found your space, you found your
Yeah.
people. Those voices are still going to attack, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Definitely. Definitely. I still had so much. Yeah, we call it imposter syndrome, but it was just like self-doubt and I'm not good enough. And of course it came back. I released my first song. I had no idea how this
yeah,
industry worked. So I was like, I'm just going to release this song and I think it's amazing. And so like everybody's going to love it and the internet's going to find it. I didn't know how the internet worked clearly
yeah.
either. And and it got no plays, a few hundred plays or whatever from my Facebook friends. And I was like, what? What is this? The world hates me. Everybody hates me. I should quit. And all this stupid. I spiraled and everything. And it happened again with the next song, and then the next song, and then the next song, and then the next, every song. I'm like, I deal with those voices. Ugh, why am I even doing this? Blah, blah, blah. That's when, as an artist, anybody listening who's an artist will understand this. You got to find your why. Because
I
for the
love
longest
it.
time, my why was I wanted to be famous and be successful. All that led to was more depression, more anxiety, more self-hatred. So I was just like, eventually it took years and several songs for me to realize this cannot be my why.
Yes.
My why has to be from a deeper place where it's not dependent on how many streams I get on a song. Do I love music or do I not? Because I'm treating it like I don't love it. I'm treating it like I only love it because I think it can give me what I want and make me happy. No, you don't really love music then. So I had to decide, do I love it or do I not? And
It's about reshaping your definition of success, right?
yes, yeah, exactly. And so I readjusted, I recalibrated. I'm still recalibrating every day. Like, why am I doing this? You know, and the pressure begins to melt away. And eventually you're just like, I'm at the place now where I'm having the time of my life. I live in a city where there's no shortage of performance opportunities. I know great producers that I can make great songs with, and I can release them into the world, even if it's just into the ether and nobody's hearing it. That's honestly fine by me because I just love making music. And if it can reach one person that, you know, would get something out of it, like 19, I had several people come up to me after I started playing that live, like multiple times. Young women would come up to me and say, like, this is my story. I'm like, are you serious? I thought I was alone. And they're like, I thought I was alone, but you told my story through that song. So those kinds of things. That's not a platinum song. I don't care.
Yeah.
It touched a few people in Austin, Texas, a few in a couple of other states as well. And that's my why.
And that's your
And
success. Yeah, that is your
that's my
success.
success.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that. So I would just like to be that guy that points out to you that the sound of your voice has been heard by millions of people on the internet.
That's kind of weird, actually, to think about.
I mean, it's true though, right? Like if you really kind of put that's the black and white box. We can put that into a black and white box because it's true. And so, yeah, you've gotten all of the streams and all of those things that you thought you needed to have to be successful. And once you realize that's not the true definition of your success, that's what happened for you. And
No.
I think that's probably not a coincidence.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so I have a song on my Spotify. It's a collaboration with my friends Jason Lux and Kramer, and it has, I think, like 6.5 million streams. And I look at that number and I just cock my head and I go, huh. It's weird because it doesn't feel like anything. It's like, that's awesome. Like, I'm so glad people like the song. But it's also like, oh, this, I thought that was going to, I thought a million plus streams was going to define like my existence, you know, and like make me happy and solve all my internal problems. And it didn't. And I know that's so cliche to say, but I guess I should have seen it coming.
I think it's cool because the version of that song on YouTube alone that is on Kramer's channel has 4.2 million. The version that's on Jason's channel has 4.1 million. So that's 8.5 million.
Look at that video is 4.1 million. That's so weird.
Yeah, it's awesome though, and you just never know what's going to happen. And yeah, I love that you ended up with that definition of success after you changed and readjusted what your definition of success is. Let's talk about something that I heard you just say. I want to unpack a little bit, and that is choosing what songs go out there. Because you are you're a pop artist, an indie pop artist, which I'm such a huge fan of indie pop. But a lot of indie pop, and I'm sure you'll admit this and agree, is very dance centric and you know, very upbeat and stuff like that. And the reason why I love you as an artist is because your lyrics are very relevant in a lot of your songs, very vulnerable, very emotive, right? And you just admitted that you don't release all of your songs. You keep some for yourself, and that's what songwriters do always. So how do you choose which ones you put out? Because a lot of your songs are vulnerable, and like 19 is an example that is helping people. but you're holding
Yeah.
some back too. So what's the process to choose which one?
Such a hard question because I am still figuring that out. In general, um, in general, there's a few different things. There's one song that I just recently recorded called Swim that I'm hoping to release, I think next year. Um, it's very, I thought it was going to be one of those songs that I keep to myself. I wrote it when I was living at my friend's house for the first 5 weeks after my uh, injury, and I was really in a lot of pain. Um, and just going through it emotionally and with my faith, I was like, what is going on? Like, I can't catch a break. And I was just processing with my ukulele. And I wrote this song called Swim. And then it wouldn't leave me alone for like a couple of weeks. I would sing it in the shower, I would sing it just like laying in bed. Um, it would not leave me alone. And that felt like very powerful. There was a life force in that song. And that was so I texted my producers. I was like, I need to get into I still had a broken leg. I was like, I need to get to the studio ASAP and just get this out. And then it stopped leaving me alone. Once I recorded it, it was like my brain was empty. So sometimes that happens. That one's not all that common. Sometimes it's just like, I think there's a story here that somebody else might relate to, and I don't want to be selfish and keep it to myself.
Wow.
And sometimes the songs that I write for myself, I just don't think they're good enough. But what I've started to do recently is I'll write a song and I'm not sure. Sometimes you're like, that's a banger, that's a hit. And sometimes you're like, this is trash, I should quit songwriting. And then sometimes it's in between. And I send a lot of those songs to close friends that I know will be honest with me. My sister, especially, will always be honest with me, brutally honest. And so I'll send them to those people. And if they have an emotional response, then it's probably a sign that I should release it. If they're like, that's cool, I'm like, maybe not, or let's sit on this one for a while. So I have to, because again, it's songwriting and music is no longer about me. It was for the first decade of me pursuing it. And I just realized like, man, this can't all be about me. There are stories that, I mean, Adele inspired me. She made me feel like not alone. She made me feel not crazy when I was like going through my first heartbreaks as a teenager. And so I wanted to like do that for somebody else. So that's kind of my process. It's nuanced and there's not always a clear answer. It's a lot of like instinct.
So there's a lot of paying it forward kind of vibes in it. And so let me ask you this: as you're
Yeah.
living that song, the life of a song, right? Whether it's put out as a single or it has some radio life, some charting life, whether you're playing it out live, there is a life to a song. As you're living the life of a song, are you reliving the pain that came with that song, or is it more therapeutic for you? Like, is it more healing for you?
When I'm writing the song itself,
No, rather like living the song, right? Like after it's written, it's produced, all of that, and now the
mm,
song has a life, right? Like
yeah.
it has a certain period of time that's relative to your career, whether you're performing it out live or radio life or whatever it is. Like as
Mm,
you're talking and performing the song, is it reliving the hurt or is it more healing and therapeutic for you?
mm. I think it's both and. I'll give you an example. A couple of nights ago, I played a house show for somebody's birthday party, and I played them a song that I had not played for anybody yet. I was like, you guys seem cool. Like, I guess I'll just show this to you and see what happens. Because that's another way I find out which songs I should keep and
Experimenting
which
with an
ones I should toss.
audience. Yeah.
Yeah, I get to
Yep.
experiment. And so I did this song called Last Breath, and I had written it actually 5 days before I broke my leg. I was already feeling like emotionally I was on my last breath. And it was this song of me just kind of like, crying out to God and trying to figure out what the heck is going on. And I noticed in that moment, I was closing my eyes and playing the song, and I was back in my kitchen with my guitar. I remembered exactly where I was, how I felt, what time of the night it
Wow.
was when I wrote this song. And it was like I was immediately transported back there. but it was almost an out of body experience where I could kind of like watch it from the outside. So I experience it again whenever I play a song, and I remember like where this came from, but I don't necessarily live inside of it all over again. Because if I did that, it would be pretty hard to
Yeah.
perform a lot of my songs, because a lot of my songs were written from a really painful place. So it's kind of like this third person, like I'm remembering on the outside, you know?
Yeah. So Courtney Patton, you know who Courtney is?
I don't think so.
So she's a pretty well-known Texas country artist, and she talks about she writes very vulnerable songs, very painful things. I mean, she's writing her biography, so to speak, right? And she talks about a grieving process with her songs, that she grieves the song, and then once the grieving process is over, then she can perform the songs no problem. And it was such a unique experience chatting with her about that. Do you feel like that's
That's a,
somewhat like that?
yeah, that's a beautiful way to put it. I absolutely think that's right. And in fact, there have been many moments where I couldn't move on from a situation, because you can't really move on from a difficult situation, unless you grieve it. That's why
Sure.
it's the grieving process.
Yeah.
And what I started to realize pretty recently was that if I resist writing a song about this thing because I don't want to sit here and be vulnerable with myself and I don't want to feel all the feelings, I'm preventing myself from grieving and I'm delaying my healing process. That happened just recently. I was like, I do not want to write a song about this. But I was like, I think what would happen if I did? So I just sat down and I felt all of the feelings. And man, it was just so cathartic. It was healing. And then I got done. I put my ukulele down. I took a deep breath and I was like, damn, that worked. Like
Wow.
it didn't heal me
Yeah.
altogether, but it was like I got to put it away. I don't have to hold it all the time
Yeah.
on my shoulders. I can put it down on paper. I can put it in audio form and just kind of send it off for a little
I
while.
think we all deal
Compartmentalize.
with that kind of procrastination, right? Like even if we're not songwriters, like a phone call you don't want to make or an appointment you don't want to go to, like just rip the band-aid off, get it over with, and it's in the rearview mirror now and you can breathe a little more freer. I love how you put that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's the same thing with journaling. A lot of people don't journal or don't want to journal, I think, because journaling is a moment of vulnerability with yourself. It's
Mhm.
opening up your heart and taking off the barricades that you've put around it. And um, I think we live in such a busy world. We move from place to place and appointment to appointment, meeting to meeting, that like we're not having a lot of moments just with ourselves. We even like listen to music or podcasts in the car instead of driving in silence.
Yep.
I've had to realize that for myself. Like I need moments of silence to just talk to myself
Yeah.
and look at my heart and see what needs healing. And a lot of times it ends up leading to a really good song.
Yeah. My wife gets on my butt all the time because I don't have enough silence in my life. Like even
Yeah.
like even when
I've
I'm
had that. People have told me that.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
even when I'm asleep, I have to have something playing, whether it's a podcast or a documentary or something, in order for me to sleep. It just turns off the voices, right? Like, but I've found lately when I'm in the car, I try to keep it quiet. Like I'll not put any music on because like I'll be sitting here in the studio and I have multiple screens playing multiple different things and actually paying attention to all of them. I'll have a sports game on or a podcast over here, or like an off the grid video over here. I got my phone playing music. Like it's just crazy. My wife will come in here and it's just like overload for her. So, yeah. But yeah, like silence is important too, and I'm learning that as I get older. I wanted to chat
Silence
with
is
you.
uncomfortable though.
It really
That's
is.
why we avoid it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially when I'm trying to sleep, right? Like that's when all of
Yeah.
those really bad voices come in, and like especially your
Oh, trust me, I
mortality
know.
voices, right? Like that's when you feel like you're gonna die. I don't know if that's just me, but
No, I know what you mean. Nighttime alone in the quiet with nothing play. It is. I still struggle with that. I still
yeah,
listen to things at night. Yeah.
yeah, same. So I wanted to chat. You did talk about moving to Austin earlier, and I find this so intriguing because again, you're an indie pop artist. I am also in Texas. I'm in Northeast Texas. Now, I feel like Texas itself, as a whole, is very country music centric. Obviously, Austin's a little bit different, right? It does have that genre fluidity a little bit more than the rest of the state. But as an indie pop artist, you come to Texas, you find out once you're here that it really does fit you well. But what are the struggles for you as an an indie pop artist in a place that is really well known for country music?
The struggle is real
Yeah.
because people in Austin want country and Americana and blues and rock. And I have felt a little bit pushed out being a pop artist. And I've talked to other pop artists here that have felt the same. It's very, very hard to get as much stage time as, say, a country artist. That being said, I'm not sitting here and wallowing about it because I'm like, all right, well, I can do hard things. I know because I've done hard things.
Yeah.
So I'll just knock down the doors, I guess. That's basically what I'm trying to do. Like, I don't need to be like uber Austin famous or famous at all really anymore. Don't really like hang my hat on that anymore. But I see a lot of pop artists out here, in addition to myself, like not getting the stage time and the recognition that they deserve. Only and it's nothing against, like, it's not like Texas or Austin is bad for it. It's just, yeah, I moved to Texas, so you know that's their culture. That's totally fine. I go out and I enjoy Americana and country bands all the time, but I can't really reconcile it. Why did I move to Austin? Why not Nashville? Why not LA?
Yeah.
LA is a huge thing. Because I don't want to live there. Because I want to live in Austin. Because Austin is dope. And the sun shines all the time. And the people are kind. And the community is beautiful. And nobody has ever made me feel bad about being a pop artist. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's actively trying to be like, get out of our town. Everybody's always been very sweet. But it's just old habits die hard. I mean, I think that Austin's always going to be like a country blues place. That's who they are. That's totally cool. I just also want to be here.
Yeah.
And be a part of it.
And you need to be here. Texas needs Ruthie Craft, and Texas needs people like you, and like Scott Strickland, a mutual friend that you and I have, right? Like, I love Scott so much, and he has a place here in Texas, and Texas needs more of people like Scott Strickland, and just different vibes, right? Like, it's so important. I feel like a lot of times in Texas, I feel like the listener needs art to be a very straight line, and art can never be a straight line. There has to be some squiggles in there, right? Like, you don't just get just country music. There has to be something in it. Otherwise,
diversity.
It all sounds the same otherwise. And like, art in a straight line is no fun to look at, right? So
that's well said. Yeah,
thank you. So I wanted to one last thing before we get into our fun segments, which I think you'll enjoy, is just your EP. But I also love the idea and the strategy perhaps behind releasing a live record too. So just so you guys know out there, she has her debut EP came out in 24. It's called Sound of Blue, and we'll be including the title track from that here in a little while. But you also did a live recording of this from Orb Studios. What was the strategy behind doing a live version of it as well?
A couple of things. I started to receive a lot of comments from people saying, like, I like your recorded music, I think it's great, but like, your strong suit and where you shine is with your band on stage, and I just wish people outside of Austin could hear that more. And it's really hard to tour as an indie artist. It's expensive and arduous. So I was like, man, what if I noticed that I listen to a lot of live music on Spotify, live versions of songs, because it just feels real. Like, you can feel almost like you're there in the room, and they're not comping vocals. It's just raw. And my music has always been about raw emotion, processing out loud. And so I wanted to do that. So we got a day, we actually won a free day at Orb, because they were doing like this Christmas giveaway, and they're like, you win a free studio day. And I was like, hell yeah, this is our chance.
Nice.
So we went in and I put the band together. And at first I was like, maybe we should record some new songs and do live versions of those and stuff. But since recording the EP, the Sound of Blue songs had morphed so much and evolved and blossomed as we played them. And I really wanted people to have a streamable experience of those songs. So the versions we did were not identical to the EP versions. They're how we do them now. We got to just play. We just got to play, which was so fun because sometimes this music business gets so serious
Hmm.
and it's all release
Especially in the
schedules and
studio, right?
promo.
Especially in the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I got to get in, we got to go in there and just like, what if we did this? My keyboard player's like, what if we did this like Queen style bridge here? And my guitar player's like, can I use this guitar instead? And like, we got to just have fun and just like be kids. And that's what came out of it. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think that the live version of Deja Vu on the Sound of Blue or EP is my favorite thing I've ever recorded. I think it turned out so sick, and people would have never heard that otherwise because that's what we're doing live now with that song. And yeah, so that's kind of the impetus behind it. We just wanted to give people a live experience who wouldn't otherwise be able to see us live.
I love the idea. Like, it's such a good idea, and in the day and age where Spotify and other platforms like almost require more content, right? It like makes sense to put that out. I have a friend of mine that puts out like a studio version of a song, and then several months later he'll put out an acoustic version of it too, just to keep that waterfall
Yeah.
going on Spotify. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I think so too, because I think there's a lot of people out there that like the toned down sound. Like myself, I love a solo artist with a guitar or a piano. It's just a different
Yeah.
vibe, right? So anyway, Ruthie, thank you so much for being here. Let's get into our having fun segments with Ruthie Craft. I think you'll have fun with these. We put these out on TikTok and Reels and things ahead of time before the episode. But I also let you choose between one of two segments. So you'll get to choose some of these. The first one is a choice between Did You Know or Fun. Which one would you like to do?
I have so many follow-up questions. Fun.
All right, fun is what hobbies do you have outside of music?
Well, I did enjoy running before I broke my leg. So not that one.
Now you just need a pirate ship to run on, right?
Oh my gosh. I know. I'm trying to think of what I do for outside of writing songs. I like doing puzzles.
Okay. You could do that with a broken leg, I think, right?
I can. I've had to get creative with what kind of fun I can have with a broken leg.
Yeah.
Yeah. Puzzles. I write a lot.
I was
not
going to
just
say,
songwriting.
you probably got
I do
like
a lot of
6
just
albums
writing.
coming out.
But just
a novel.
other besides songwriting, I've just been writing a lot. So like I'll turn my journal entries into essays. I'm actually starting to release some of those writings as of last night.
Very cool.
I'm going to start sharing some of my journal with the world. So that's what I really enjoy.
Based on the stuff we talked about today, I think you could help a lot of people with the insight in your head, for sure. Next segment is called Impactful. Can you name 3 people that really impacted your life and tell us the biggest thing you learned from each of them?
Okay, I'm just not going to think too hard. First ones that come to mind. My best friend, Katie, we grew up together, known each other since we were in diapers, and she was just her whole life. She's just always been above the noise. Somehow she's just been outside and above and wise beyond her years. So kind. She's an actual angel and intelligent. She's also inspired me with writing and music. She's a songwriter and a musician. I would look at her and be like, oh, I want to be like you when I grow up. And I'm older than her. And so she's really impacted me that way in so many ways. Just her general character and her talent and her love for everybody. She just doesn't discriminate in how she pours out love on people, and I think that's beautiful. So that's number 1. Number 2 would be I'll say my dad. His work ethic is unmatched. And if I didn't have a dad like him, I don't know if I ever would have found my footing and learned how to work hard and provide for myself. Um, Sometimes he's a little hard on himself, as like, because he's just like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm being lazy. I'm like, no, you're not. Like, you're retired. It's fine.
Yep.
But he has just such an excellent work ethic, and always did whatever it took to provide for his family. So I just admire that about him. And it reminds me on my lazy days and on my sleepy days that, if my dad could get up at 4 a.m. to go drive an hour and a half to provide for his family, then I can get my butt out of bed and send some emails.
Right.
Yeah. And then number 3 would be impactful person. It's so hard to just narrow down to 3. I'm just going off the top of my dome, so I hope I don't offend anybody if I don't include them. I'm going to say my older sister, Georgie. There was this moment 4 years ago when my youngest niece was born. She was born with a heart defect, and she almost died. She spent 5 weeks in the NICU, and we were terrified. I was pretty damn convinced that we were going to lose her. And there was this moment I got to visit her in the NICU. I had to put on the gown and scrub down and put on the mask and everything. And I'm staring down at my little niece who's days old, and she's got tubes coming out of her. And I just lose it. Just start weeping and weeping. I'm like, I think I'm saying goodbye to this little girl. And my sister's standing next to me, her mother. And she lays her head on my shoulder, and she puts her arm around me, and she goes, it's going to be okay. And I go, what? And I wipe the snot from under my nose. I go, what are you talking about? This is your child. Why are you losing your mind right now? Why are you consoling me? And she just said, I just know that God has a plan for this. And it infuriated me. I was like, how dare you? That's so insensitive. Like, how could you say that at a time like this? God who? This girl is dying right in front of us. And I didn't believe in God at that time. I walked away from him, and I felt just angry and bitter about the whole thing. But I went away and I journaled about that moment because I felt like it was important to remember. And in the years following, that was the moment that I kept going back to. Why does Georgie have that peace? Why did she have that trust? I want that. And because of that one moment in particular, and many other conversations with her, it changed my life because it brought me back to my faith and to the meaning of everything. And my niece did pull through, by the way. She's
Awesome.
4 now and spunky. But so I'd say, yeah, my sister Georgie, and just by the way she lived her life. She didn't lecture me. She didn't preach at me. She just had something that I wanted, that peace and that joy. And so that's been a huge impact on me.
And what a great answer. I'm so happy we do that segment now. We just started that one not too long ago. And
It's a good question.
thank you.
I
It
love
really
that.
is. I love it. And all right, so next one, choose one of these two. Choose either Mount Rushmore or choose one artist.
Mount Rushmore.
All right, so who is on Ruthie Craft's Mount Rushmore of most influential artists to you?
Adele, Alan Stone, Ella Fitzgerald.
It's not hard choosing a fourth. It's hard choosing everybody else not to be the fourth.
Stevie Nicks.
I love it. Let's go. Okay. All right, so next segment is a game show style segment that we call What the Heck. And so this is a very visual based segment. So I'm going to ask 5 questions that are designed to put a vision into your head. And you have to tell us what that vision is, what the answer is. Don't change your answer, okay? This is fun. All right, so number 1, where do you think squirrels go during hurricanes?
I didn't expect that. Um, underground?
I would hope so.
Question mark.
I often wonder, right? Okay, number 2, what are you most afraid of?
Sorry, I'm trying to be really thoughtful with my answer. What am I most afraid of? Um, I'm most afraid of damaging a relationship beyond repair.
What a great answer. Whew. That's a deep answer.
Sorry, I get deep.
No, I love it. Again, I say it all the time. This is why we
We can do it again and
podcast.
I'll say heights or something.
No, 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 no. No, that was great. All right, number 3. All right, so some people will say heavens no. Some people say hell yes. But why does nobody say purgatory perhaps?
That's a good one. That's pretty funny. Purgatory. I'm gonna start using that.
I
I'll be
need
like,
somebody
"What'd
to
you
do it on stage just one time instead of y'all give me a hell yeah. Y'all give me
say?"
a purgatory
perhaps.
perhaps. Yes.
Any Catholics in the audience?
Yes.
That's so
All right.
funny.
Now you know why we call this what the heck. All right. Number 4. Let me see. Have you ever dropped your phone on your face while using it in bed?
Yeah,
Sucks, doesn't it?
it's really just a low moment. You're like, what has my life come to?
Yeah. Yeah, one. I'll tell you a little story. This is kind of funny. My wife once texted me that I left my phone in the house, and I went in there looking for it. She texted me to tell me that my phone was in. I left my phone in the house.
Was she playing a trick on you?
She texted me. I had my phone in my hand, and she texted me to tell me my phone was in the house.
Why?
I went in the house looking for it, even though she texted me on my phone. Do you see what I'm
That
saying?
is so funny. Yes,
Not very smart.
that's hilarious.
All right, number 5.
I mean, we've all been there though. Like, where are my keys? And they're in
Yeah,
your hand.
absolutely.
You know?
Or your glasses are on your head the whole time.
Oh
or
yeah,
something.
exactly.
All right, last one. Number 5. Have you ever tripped on stage, and if so, how did you play it off as cool?
Yeah. Oh, I trip on stage all the time. I wear those dumb high heels. It's amazing to me. Side note, that I didn't break my leg on stage in dumb high heels. That I was just like standing there.
And yet you got there
so
anyway,
funny.
Ruthie. You got there anyway.
I'm like, this is not how I would have expected this to happen. But I have tripped on stage, yeah, because you got cables everywhere and stuff. And you just do a little shuffle kind of thing, like this was a dance, and then maybe do a little spin or whatever, and you play it off. I never like admit that I tripped.
Yeah.
Sometimes my band members will look at me and they're like,
So there's
but I'm like, no, I did that on purpose.
There's an artist named Caitlin Butts. I went to see her in Greenville.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she tripped and almost fell. And I swear to you, within 3 seconds, her band all mimicked the same move to make it look like it was part of the choreography. Yeah, I have it on video.
No.
She has her band trained. If she trips, they do the same thing. It was so cool.
So they have to watch her at all times.
Probably, yeah, probably.
I wonder
Yeah.
if I could get my band to do that.
You should, yeah, and get them to say "Purgatory, perhaps" after an awesome rip. Right. All right. Next one. Choose one of these 2 segments: either bucket list or fly on the wall.
Bucket list.
All right. So, what is on your bucket list of things you still want to do?
So many things. I want a second chance at marriage, and I want to have children. I want to be a mom. Probably being a mom is the top one. And then I want to go to Rome to see the Colosseum. I want to go to Israel to see all the historical sites there. I want to just go to like I want to go to ancient ruins just in general. I want to. Egypt is the main one, honestly, to see the pyramids. That's like my top bucket list item. My mom already did it, and I'm really jealous. Um, yeah, and then I mean, I guess I would say play play at Red Rocks or the Gorge in Washington, which is a similar kind of vibe. Actually,
Yeah.
I want to say the Gorge. I think the Gorge is cooler.
I love those
Yeah.
answers. Very cool. All right, next one. Choose either biggest lesson or moment of gravity.
Moment of gravity. I'm going to choose the second one because I don't know what the question means.
Okay, so moment of gravity is. I love this question, and I have a feeling I might know what you're going to say, perhaps. But so, moment of gravity is you can kind of look back in your life and see that one moment in time that kind of changed your trajectory to put you on the path to where you ended up now. Can you kind of see what that moment was for you?
Yeah, there. Yeah. Shoot. Well, it depends on what path we're talking about specifically, but there are probably two main hinge points, and one would be divorce, and two would be very recently broken leg. I think that that's going to prove to have had a bigger impact on my life than I can even imagine, and on my career,
So,
but like in a good way.
you
I
think
think.
so?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Is it because it's kind of slowing you down?
yeah. I've been able to zoom out and reevaluate
Yes.
my why. Why do I do this? What do I really want out of this? What's really going to make me truly happy? Um, what is my identity? Those kinds of things. Like heavy questions I've been dealing with all
That's
summer.
really,
And
really good.
yeah, I think it's going to end up being like a really good thing for me
Yeah.
in my career and whatever family, future family.
It's really kind of crazy that you can kind of, if you get a chance to zoom out, you can kind of see that the negative things actually turn out to be quite positive, right?
Always.
Yeah.
Always. I mean, they build us into who we are. Like there's nothing but silver linings. I just don't like it's so hard for me to look back on my life and even in the most painful circumstances, they built resilience in me and strength and independence and also the opposite happened with my leg. It didn't build independence. It couldn't. It built reliance on my community. That was a
Yeah.
new thing I hadn't learned yet. It was a new gift that I wouldn't have been given had my leg not shattered. Those kinds of things, you know?
And both sides of that are so important. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Second to last segment is called Grateful. What do you think are the three things you are most grateful for?
I love your questions. I just want to say this
Thank
is
you
such a
so
lovely
much.
interview.
Thank you.
The three things I'm most grateful for. I'm grateful for second chances and third chances and fourth chances and fifth chances because I learn slow and I like to touch the hot stove several times before I'm like, it's definitely hot. So I'm grateful for second chances. Um, and that goes hand in hand with, I guess, forgiveness, mercy. I'm grateful for the friends that I have here in Austin. I just feel so blessed, like beyond what I deserve for the friends I have here, and I got to see the fruit of those friendships when I broke my leg. Um, and I'm grateful for sunshine. It's my favorite thing in the world. I'm grateful that I live in a place where the sun shines.
I was going to
every
say
day.
that's why you're in Texas, right? So there you go.
Yeah.
Vitamin D.
Yep.
All right, last segment, and this one is called Who Do You Think You Are? So who is Ruthie Craft?
That's it? That's the question?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Uh,
Yep.
who's asking, I guess. I don't know. Who is Ruby Craft? I'm just a girl with a past trying to make sense of it and trying to figure out the steps forward and using those lessons to hopefully bless and encourage other people.
And trying to find your why, right?
Trying to find my why. Yeah.
I love that so much. Ruthie, I appreciate your time today again so much for hanging out with us today. I interviewed Scott Strickland earlier in the year. We chatted a little bit about you on the show, and I was like, man,
I saw that.
yeah. He was like, you're
Scott's
gonna,
the man.
huh?
Scott's the man.
Oh, he's amazing. Just an incredible guy as well. Great story too. Let me tell everybody where to follow along with you because they should be already, and just a remarkable artist. I'm so glad to have found you, and you're such a valuable part of my playlist now. I want you to know that.
Thank you.
Means a lot that I got to meet you and chat with you. But it's RuthieCraft.com. You can see her name there on your screen if you're watching visually. If you're not, that will be in the description below as well. All you got to do is click on it, go over there, check out everything she's got going on. You'll find her videos there, her music, her tour. You can buy merch there, all the good stuff. The social medias are Ruthie Craft on Instagram. On YouTube, it's the same. On Facebook, it's Ruthie Craft Music. On TikTok, it is Ruthie Craft. So really, Facebook is the only one that's a little bit different. Just add music to the end of it. Follow along on your favorite platform. And if somebody asks you what's the best way to support you as an artist, what would you tell them?
Sharing my music. It costs nothing
Mm-hmm.
to share it on your stories or whatever. Tell a friend about it. That's a huge thing. Not even, I mean, like buying merch or coming to a show or whatever is great, but really the easiest thing is just comment on a post, share a song that you like. It doesn't cost anything.
Yeah, we all have devices that we're not using as well. I know we all do. Don't say you don't, because I know you do. So get that device that you're not using, plug it in somewhere, and loop the record. That's all you got to do. And then just let that device do its thing. And anytime you find an artist that you love, whether it's Ruthie Craft or whoever it is, put it on a playlist, put it on a device you're not using, and loop. And believe me, that helps. It helps get those streaming numbers up. Again, Ruthie, thank you so much for being here and doing this for us today. I appreciate you big time.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. And thank you for your thoughtful questions.
Hey,
Oh,
y'all,
no-
this is Cynthia Roush. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Boston Chris Show.